Hello, my friends. This is Andy Falco Jimenez coming to you live from Yorba Linda, California for the Andy Falco Show. I'm going to be bringing some information to you in regard to the Placentia Yorba Linda Unified School District. But first, I want to make sure and bring your attention to our website. My wife and I have a website called resurrectministry.com. Go there. You'll see our show, Living Fearless Devotional, and some of the interviews of my wife with Pastor Jack, even our interview with Pastor Jack, and a whole bunch of other really cool things that you can look into to bring you a little bit closer, maybe a little bit, maybe a lot closer to Jesus Christ. So go to resurrectministry.com. The other thing I want to do, which is in lieu of the other sponsors that I have, I'll do it the next time, but this one's really important. And so I want to make sure and bring this one up first. And that is, I want you to make sure that in March, during the next election that we have coming up, is that you vote no on the recall. If you're in the Orange Unified School District area, vote no on the recall, simply because Madison Minor and Rick Ledesma are trying to clean up that school district. That's kind of what I'm going to be talking to you about today with Placentia Yorba Linda Unified School District. But at the Orange Unified School District, very much the same thing. You have two people that, in particular, and there's of course, a whole bunch of others, but these two have been targeted by Planned Parenthood, California Teachers Association, and their local teachers union, and they are up against thousands and thousands of dollars and huge money-making organizations, and they need your help. So make sure and you let anybody know that's in the city of Orange or the Orange Unified School District that to vote no on that, whether or not they have kids in the school or grandchildren or aunts or uncles that have nieces and nephews. Make sure that regardless, that when they go to the ballot, that they check no on the recall for those fine individuals. All right. So what's happening at the Placentia Yorba Linda Unified School District? I would normally do a recap of the most recent school board meeting and talk about all the different things that happened, good, bad, the ugly, and show you some of the comments that were made by people during public comment. But there is so much to get to. I'm only going to be able to get to a fraction of what has been happening over the last couple of weeks, and in particular since the school board meeting. One of the things I want to address first is the fact that there is so many good things happening right now in Placentia Yorba Linda School District. And if you've been watching my show over the last couple of years, you've heard all the nonsense that's happened, whether it was masking children, throwing kids out of school because they didn't wear their mask properly or the right kind of mask, to discussions about whether they're going to have vax mandates, to not whether they're going to go back to school or not. And then it became about CRT. Then it became about DEI and SEL and LGBTQ and the flags. And I mean, it just went on. And it was just, that's all that it seemed that they were focused on, that every school board meeting when the old regime was in, that we couldn't get to anything about education. Well, now that we got all of those nimwits out of our school district, which here's a picture of most of them. I'll talk about these people more later, but these were the people that were in charge back then. Carrie Buck, Karen Freeman, Mike Matthews was the superintendent that followed Jim Elsasser, who was in for a long period of time, and then Marilyn Anderson joined that group. I'm ashamed to say that I helped her get elected, because originally she said she was going to be a strong voice for parents' rights. Little did we know that she was going to flip, or her plan all along was to flip, and she was just a mole. At the time, we didn't know it, but we ended up helping her get elected, and now we're regretting our decision there, because she's not only incompetent and a moron, she has become completely a shill. Like, it's okay if you're a moron and you're just dumb, but she's now a shill for the Planned Parenthood teachers associations, and looks to them for everything. They write her script, which she then reads at the school board meetings. We know this is the truth, because there's no way that she would use the words that are being used in her script. And so she's clearly reading a script that somebody has prepared for out of the California Teachers Association, or APL, which is the Association for Placentia Linda educators. But what I want to address first. So I talk about all these things. The thing is, you need to know now that we have this man in charge, Dr. Alex Chernis, who's currently our superintendent. And then we have, the majority on the board with Leandra, Sean, and Todd, that things are happening finally. We have educational programs that have either been started or are on their way to being implemented. We have a new charter school coming in. We have an athletic school that's going to be coming in the fall. We have a whole bunch of things. I'm going to let Dr. Alex Chernis tell you all the great things that are happening. I don't think that's not all. It's going to be a portion of the fantastic things that are occurring. But I want to make sure and tell you first that what ends up happening, the left has learned this trick where they create all kinds of chaos out in the community. They spread lies and rumors. They, scream and yell at the school board meetings. They create chaos and then convince people that are, too busy to go to the school board meetings. They go to work and they have their jobs and they're taking their kids from one place to the next. And so those people who aren't paying attention only hear that there's chaos. And this is coming from the left. They create the chaos in the imagination of people. There's not real chaos, but they create the idea that there's chaos. And then they spread the rumor that there's chaos and that, good people are being fired, that kids are leaving in droves to either be homeschooled or going into the districts. They create all this stuff, which isn't true, and they spread it out there. And now it gives the appearance that there's chaos. The truth is, there's no chaos. There's some cleaning up that's being done, which can be done without chaos, and it's being done without chaos. There's programs being created, and there's amazing people being brought in that have amazing credentials and that type of stuff. So first, let me play a video from the school board meeting on February 14th, 2024, where Dr. Alex Chernis was addressing this very issue. And then we'll come back right after this video. Here we go.
We've done quite a bit since I've been here. We've added an SRO. We've provided thousands of hours of tutoring to kids that had never gotten it before, free tutoring. I would think our scores are going to go up. We're going to have more kids at grade level. We have a new diploma-bound special ed program. We are employing venture kids who graduate. We've reduced our district office management costs. We've increased salaries for IAs. We have a multi-year contract. We have a more diverse hiring practice. We have this new computer science program. And now we're starting the Sports Institute. It doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. And for people to say, I'm just confounded when I hear that people say we're going in the wrong direction. How can you argue with that? So I ask that you try not to dislike the ideas because you may dislike or disagree with the people. Be impartial when it's about helping kids, because that's what we're doing here, and that's why we're all here. And finally, I just want to say that spreading misinformation and chaos out in the community to slow progress is not a good strategy. It confuses people. They lose trust. They end up coming to meetings because they think they're supposed to and they don't know why. So I'm available all the time. If you have questions, reach out. Give me a call. Send me an email. I'll get back to you. Let's just keep going forward and putting kids first. That concludes my report.
And so that's essentially puts it all in a nutshell there, that there's amazing things happening like crazy. In addition to the great things that are happening, of course, there are some things that as a new superintendent comes in and brings in other assistant superintendents or executives underneath him, that they begin to look into the finances and find fraud. They begin to look at programs that are, using money that's not being, where the programs aren't actually even being run. There's money that's been taken from students' uses and given to executive raises instead. There's just, I could go on with all the things that I've heard that are happening other than education, that they're coming in and they're discovering a mess of corruption and fraud and illegalities that also need to be addressed. So you have a superintendent who's creating a lot of amazing things, doing a lot of amazing work. At the same time, he's busy trying to sort out those problem areas that you have in an organization that is filled with corruption for years and decades. And the people, like I said, involved or late, in the past are these people right here. You got Carrie Buck, who's been the recipient of some of that fraud. You got Jim Elsasser. As a matter of fact, she's being sued, I think. If I'm not mistaken, Jim Elsasser, I could be wrong, but he's being sued. Mike Matthews, Karen, for a mesh mask issue. So we got these things going on. These people are in charge, and then we finally are able to reduce it down to just 2. So we have 2 on the school board. No longer are any of those superintendents or the Karen Freeman on the board anymore, but we're down to these 2 that still have a strong connection to what were those organizations I was telling you about earlier? They are Planned Parenthood, California Teachers Association, and the APLE. These 2 teachers unions and Planned Parenthood have thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in their coffers, where they use them to get people like Carrie Buck and Marilyn Anderson voted in or help them stay in once they have deemed themselves useful idiots to those organizations. They use it to create chaos, as Dr. Chernis was talking about, that the chaos is a creation. It is not happening, but they create this chaos that will get around the community and say, oh, I heard there's all kinds of chaos happening at the PLYUOSD. And we're going, what chaos? We have a new charter school. We have a new athletic school coming in. We have thousands of children that are now being tutored that weren't being tutored before. We're finding that there was thousands and thousands of dollars being misused in so many ways that we've been able to recover and begin to use those. And so many of us who know what's actually happening are saying, we have no idea what chaos you're talking about, because the chaos has been voted out. The chaos is being fired, and we're bringing in people that are nothing but calm and just great people that are creating positive things for our children and our schools. So you have to understand what's happening in the midst of growth, fruit being borne on trees that have been pruned, the pruning of the dead branches, which is horrible employees that are incompetent, who have been stealing money or doing horrific things. Those things have been happening, but it doesn't mean that there's chaos. It's to calm things down and to bring in some things that can flourish. And that's what's happening. So these are the people and the organizations that are creating the chaos out of nothing. And you need to understand that when it comes election time, that we need to get rid of Carrie Buck. We need to get rid of Marilyn Anderson. Marilyn Anderson is going to be the next one up for re-election, and we're going to make sure that she does not get reelected. Make sure and comment if you're watching. If you have been victim to somebody spreading rumors of chaos, or maybe you see the greatness that's happening, make sure and comment on whatever platform you're watching on. I'm broadcasting live right now on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble. So if you're watching on any of those platforms, make sure and comment and let me know. But this is the cause of the chaos. The cause of the calm is Dr. Alex Chernis, and that's what you need to know. He's a great leader. He's hired some great people, and he's cutting off the branches that need to be cut off for either further growth of fruit or because the branches are dead. And so just make sure you understand that he's simply doing his job. He's doing what he has been brought in to do, and that is to create a school district that helps children flourish through education. The next thing that we had happening here is that, and I'm going to keep bringing these photos up because it's important to know who's doing it, is that you have these people right here that have pushed CRT, DEI, and SEL. Of course, CRT is critical race theory, DEI is diversity, equity, and inclusion, and SEL is social learning. Oh my gosh. I've spoken about these for so many years, and now I'm drawing a blank on SEL. Social emotional learning. Wow, I just had a little brain fart there. But they've been pushing this stuff, and it's all in regard to race. All three of those is race and LGBTQ. That's all they've been concerned about. Remember, just in the last 4 or 5 years, that's all we have been talking about. That, oh my gosh, we're not equitable. Oh, is there equity in this thing? Oh, are we bringing in the right people so that we can have an equitable school district? And everything's been about race. And it's been all, look at, let me show you this picture, all white people. The leadership of all these organizations are white people. When you come and see the president of APLE, a white woman, the president of CTA, I'm not sure. Actually, I got to look that up. Now, Planned Parenthood has very carefully made sure that they put only Planned Parenthoods, mostly in Black areas, remembering that they are in charge of murdering babies, but they put them mostly in Black areas. Just makes sense of that. So here we have these people and organizations. They're really, really, really concerned about equity and making sure that whether they're Pacific Islanders or Black or Hispanic, that we need to bend over backwards and do things differently, which I think is racist on its own, is because they learn differently, or I don't know why, but they feel like everything has to be lowered, and we need to bring them in and do it without worrying about if they have the qualifications. And we want to make sure and look at this through the eyes of colored glasses, and have been pushing it nonstop for several years. So first, we had the opportunity on Tuesday, February 14th, to give a raise to this amazing woman right here, Dr. Olivia Young, obviously an Asian American, but to us, we don't care. We just care that she's been the director of human resources. She's the assistant superintendent of educational services. She's been high school principal, assistant high school principal, athletic director, AVID coordinator, math and reading intervention teacher, basketball coach. And yes, I know I missed the L on school, but she's been amazing and been with our school for a very, very long time. So the opportunity we have here to really boost her and put her in a category above, any other probably Asian American that we've had in our school district at any time that I know of, at least since I've been paying attention. They had the chance, the opportunity to vote for this raise. That includes these women right here, Carrie Buck and Marilyn Anderson, who screamed the loudest about equity. And let me play you a video as to how it is that they voted for Dr. Olivia. Sorry, I'm pushing the wrong button. Dr. Olivia Young for her raise.
I need a motion to approve the employment contract for Dr. Olivia Young, Kishi, as Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services with an annual salary of $230,000. She shall also receive all incentives available to other members of the district's certificated management staff, including longevity pay and mileage stipend. The contract will remain in effect from March 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2026. Can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the amended employment contract for the Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services.
I'll second.
Great. Any comments, or can we go to a vote? You can go
Probably
to a
all
vote.
the same.
Okay.
Same comments.
All right. Roll call, please. Miss Anderson.
No.
Miss Buck. No. Mr. Youngblood.
Aye.
Mr. Frazier.
Aye.
And I myself am an aye. Vote carries 3-2. Thank you for all the hard work that you've done this year. Ms. Young, it has not been an easy year, and there's been a lot of expectations placed on you. And so just thank you for the hard work.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So as you could hear there, Carrie Buck and Marilyn Anderson voted no to give one of the hardest working people in our school district a raise, a well-deserving raise, to make sure that she didn't leave and go somewhere else. That's another important thing you have to understand, that when somebody shows themselves to be, and particularly skillful, and if the raise is within reason, within the industry standard, the most important thing you could do, and I've owned several businesses. I've had 400 employees at one time at one of my businesses that I owned. And one thing I understood is that if I had somebody that was highly qualified and didn't break the bank to do so, and it wasn't astronomically crazy to do so, that you'd give that person a salary that would allow them to stay. And that's exactly what was happening here. But of course, Marilyn and Carrie decided, no, And you would think that they would do it just based on the fact that she would be considered a Pacific Islander, perhaps. I believe. I'm not sure. Again, I don't know these things like they do. But no, they voted no. And so that was the first side. And you'd think that that's bad enough. But here we have another gentleman by the name of Dr. Isaac Gates. He was brought to our school district by the board and Dr. Chernus, and he's been doing an amazing job the several months that he's been here. But his history is that he was the assistant superintendent of human resources for PYLUSD. That's his current job, or it was before this vote. He was an executive director of curriculum and instruction at Inglewood Unified School District. He's a principal of San Marino High School. He led San Marino High School to be the #1 academically achieving high school in the state of California for 3 consecutive years. Which is amazing. And he's an outstanding administrator of the year award from the Los Alamitos Unified School District. So he comes to us with great credentials, hired because of who he is and what his accomplishments are. And he's just, his character is above reproach. And you have all of those attributes and all those traits in an employee. Dr. Chernus recognized that, and he's already done the work as in his current position with the Placentia Yorba Linda Unified School District. And Chernus thought, this guy will help me immensely as a deputy superintendent. As you can see there, that's what they want to give him. A new position as the deputy superintendent, which we've had before. So this isn't unusual. So they try to use arguments that, well, we've never had one before. Yes, they've had one before. Well, this is too soon. Well, if you see greatness in somebody very quickly and you don't want to lose them to another school district, because this it very quickly happens in this industry, is that you want to lock them down. And one of the ways you lock them down is by giving them a promotion, give them a raise, and keep them around because he's doing amazing work. Why would you wait? Not only that, he just happens to be, been awarded these great awards, and he's taken a high school as the principal to #1 in the state of California. Okay. And so he has the experience. He's done amazing work. You would think that these two would want to vote for him just because of his color. That's all, for years, that's all that's mattered to them. And yet, let me just play this video and you will hear how they voted.
Else? Okay. All right, let's go for a vote. Roll call, please. Miss Anderson?
No.
Miss Buck? Nope. Mr. Youngblood?
Yes.
Mr. Frazier?
Yep.
And I am a yes. Congratulations, Deputy Superintendent Mr. Gates.
Yeah, they voted no. They voted no for a man where to them, the only thing that was important in the past was his color, but voted no because he's competent. Apparently. They love incompetence. They love it because that's all they know. That's all they've ever had. And when they see people that work, it confuses them. When they see a person make a difference in a school district, it causes them angst. When they see somebody that knows how to actually bring education and programs that will educate our kids, they don't know what to do with that because that's not in their agenda. The teachers unions and Planned Parenthood have told them, no, we don't want that. We want sexualization. We want pornography. We want the kids to hate each other. We want them to hate each other because of who they are in regards to their color and their race. No, we don't want this thing called education. We've not promoted that in decades. What is Placentia Yorba Linda Unified School District doing? Who do they think they are educating children? And when they had the opportunity to vote in somebody just based on their color, they failed and they said no. That's the fraud that this Carrie Buck and Marilyn Anderson. I think I do that a lot, so I apologize for doing that. And then their minions, the Planned Parenthood, CTA, and APLE group that fund all of this stuff and just really hate it. They hate the fact that we're bringing in people that are making a difference in our school. The next thing I want to make sure and let you know about is that the people that are getting fired have proven to be incompetent and have harmed our children for many, many years. And this isn't something, when somebody's fired, listen, I worked for a law enforcement officer. I worked as a law enforcement officer at Anaheim Police Department for a couple decades and over 2 decades. And I've been in law enforcement continuously since my retirement in investigating law enforcement agencies and officers over the last several years. So I've been in law enforcement for 40 years. And so I know what it means to essentially manage the firings of somebody. So there has to be a track record for government people, employees, because you can't just simply wake up one day and say, I really hate the way that person looks, and they're fired. Now, in many businesses, you can do that, but not in these bureaucracies that we have with contracts and unions and all that kind of stuff. There has to be a body of work, a body of bad work in order to get them fired. And so you have this gentleman by the name of Joey Davis, principal at El Dorado High School, who has a body of work that has just been horrific. And that is one of having a culture of debauchery at El Dorado High School. I have children that have gone to El Dorado for years. My oldest daughter went to El Dorado before Joey Davis was principal. And then I have my kids that at one point we had 3 children at El Dorado. One we pulled out because it was too dangerous for her to be there because she was susceptible to some of the nonsense that Joey Davis allowed to happen there, which includes a number of things that I'm going to point out in just a moment with reports from other parents and things that not only they have seen and sent me videos of and pictures of, but what I have seen, what my children have told me. And it's just things that have been going on for at least 2 years that I've been telling the school board about and district about. The reason that some parents don't report these things is because they're afraid of retribution. They're afraid that their children will be targeted, because it happens in our district where they report something and the children receive lower scores, or they are suspended for doing very minor things. They're sent home because they're not wearing their mask right. And during COVID, they would have a mesh mask on, and so they would get kicked out over and over and over again, which caused them all kinds of problems, which is a number of the people I mentioned earlier being sued for all this stuff. And so that's why parents don't report it. The history at PYLUSD is that people like Carrie Buck and her minions and other superintendents and principals and vice principals, these are all friends, and they all lined each other's pockets in one way or another, or gave them special powers. And so they all protected one another. And this is something that's happened throughout PYLUSD for many years. And so parents learned, I can't say anything or else they'll take it out on my kid, or I just simply have to pull my child out. And so for years, the population of the children attending PYOC has declined because of this nonsense that's been going on. And so they report it to me because they know I don't care. My kids have been kicked out for not wearing a mask. My kids have been, targeted, for horrific things and accused of very nasty things. We've changed schools, a whole bunch of other stuff. We're fine with that. My kids know that they have targets on their back, and they understand, and they're fine with it too. But here's a little slide here. These are all the reports that I could fit onto this page. There's more, and these are emails and reports and texts and pictures and I have videos and things that have kids' faces in them. So I don't want to show them because they're under 18. But these are all the different things that have been reported, whether it's boys in the girls' locker rooms or the bathrooms changing, girls holding their urine because they don't want to go in the bathroom because they're afraid a boy will peek over the stall. They don't change their tampons. They got, oh my gosh, what do they call it? Not, the dancers. The men are dressed as women. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. It's been all over the news. You know what I'm talking about. Those people happening at dances. We've had twerking. We've had girls, hundreds and hundreds of girls not meeting the dress code. And Joey Davis just turns a blind eye to all this stuff. And I can tell you all the names that the kids that I know have called him over the years. Having 2 girls that go to El Dorado and a boy at El Dorado, I hear everything. They're all in sports. And so I give these 6 or 7 kids from El Dorado High School, and they all say, oh my gosh, XYZ about Joey Davis. Oh, he's blah, 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 Joey Davis. And these are things for them to say. I'm not going to blurt them all out because I don't want to be accused of slandering somebody. The only thing I want to tell you is facts that I do know. But these are the things that the kids tell me. They can't stand them, and they hope that he leaves someday. And so amongst the accusations, the proof with the pictures and the videos that I've been sent, this has been going on a while, talking about what's been going on. But most recently, Joey Davis and the Placentia Police Department have had a run-in where we have SROs, school resource officers, that work at El Dorado High School, and the school resource officers have reported to their administration that they are being harassed by Joey Davison, and it increased the level of workplace harassment. And they reported it and said that they feared going back to the school, and they just couldn't do it any longer because Joey Davis was harassing them so much. And so Placentia Police Department threatened to pull the program, the SRO program, out of Placentia, El Dorado High School in Placentia, and they were going to no longer be there. I'm telling you right now that El Dorado High School needs Placentia Police Department in that school because the amount of drugs that are being taken in that school and other sexual acts that are happening based on reports that I've heard, not only from students, but from parents, drinking that's happening in the school. And if you take the SRO out of that school, it'll really be a huge problem. And so back to the rescue, Dr. Alex Chernis in his Clark Kent attire goes to the Placentia Police Department, talks to the chief of police, and what I think he's done is he's saved the program for El Dorado. And I'm sure that there are some things that need to be done. He's probably given some directive to Joey Davis, I believe he's still there, that he is not to harass them any longer. There's not to be any more workplace violence or workplace harassment at El Dorado High School. And so thank God for, once again, Dr. Alex Chernis, who goes to Placentia PD and makes sure that he handles that situation. Don't know what's going to go on from here. I don't know if there's any discipline or anything like that. I just know that all these things happened, and that is the reason. If he's going to be fired, he's going to be fired. So the story here is just one example as to why a principal may be removed from their position. What you're being told by these folks here is that firing of principals and vice principals is just willy-nilly. There's no reason for them to be fired, which is not true. It's things like this, years of problems, and then a bigger problem, perhaps sometimes, occurs, and then action just has to be taken. We can't have a rogue principal not enforcing the rules, allowing for a culture of debauchery at a high school where we need education and we need systems in place that protect children from themselves and from others. And we need SROs currently because of the things that happen at schools. That's just the way that it is. We have SROs at every school now, I believe. And so that is why people are being removed, not because they're good people, not because they're doing a good job or they aren't the right color. No, it's because of a body of negative work that is taking place in whatever position they are at in the Placentia Yorba Linda Unified School District. So hopefully this man will be out soon if he's not already, and we can move on with a brand new principal. And I'm sure whoever Dr. Chernis and the school board finds, they will be fantastic. And that's what we need for all these schools. All right. So that's all my slides for you. These are just some of the things. I'm telling you, there is so much going on. Again, so much positive going on. But we do have to address the attempt in Planned Parenthood, California Teachers Association, the APLE, and Carrie Buck and Marilyn Anderson's attempt to cause chaos when there actually isn't any. There's nothing but good happening at PYLUSD right now, and we just still have some wolves in the hen house that are causing chaos. All right, my friends, that's it for now. I hope you got all that, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye.